All right, guys, tis the season, playoff best ball season, and we need to rip some gauntlet drafts. Of course, Underdog pumping out these playoff contests. I think we're on to Mitten 69 now, Gauntlet 43. We must win them. $200,000 up top. The Badge Bros joining me tonight, talk through some optimal strategy, rip a few drafts. Let's do it.
Bro, I'm telling you, hop in these drafts when these idiot streamers are trying to draft and talk to the chat at the same time. It's so plus EV, bro.
Oh no, I think I accidentally just took Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs. What do we call that? A no-no.
No way, you don't have to set your lineup. That's incredible. And recently eclipsed 23%, and I'd much prefer it to be in the more 21 to 22% range.
I was just telling these guys backstage here, Chris G asking, what time is it? Anyone got a clock? You guys need to get conditioned right now to streams not being directly punctual. Okay. I am now learning what it takes to be a father and raise a newborn right now. I don't know. None of you guys are fathers, right? So you can't sympathize with this yet, right?
No. We've all got pets. Lots of needy pets. That's about it.
Dog dad.
What would you guys say the average time for your scheduled streams is? What's the delta on scheduled time versus start time?
We're pretty good at the start. We're good at the start.
Yeah.
Okay.
John will hop in there 30 seconds before stream, tell us to shut up and launch it right away. So we're
basically exactly what you just did.
yeah, 100%.
And these guys, they've gotten spoiled around here because, I won't call out, other shows, other content providers, but those guys 5 minutes late, 6 minutes late, they don't give a shit about you. It's just, it's our burden that we care so much about, protecting everyone's time. But I'm just telling people, you're gonna have to cut me a little slack this summer. All right. So you guys have been grinding all the Underdog contests, of course, but this is the most beautiful time of the year. It's the playoff best ball time of the year. How are you guys handling this right now? Are you guys blasting off in gauntlets and mittens? Are you doing a bunch of the wild card battle royales, or are those things not mutually exclusive for you?
It's tough, man. I think Nez is doing both.
Yeah, I'm up to I got in 80 gauntlets before it closed, and I've got a smattering of mittens as well. And I haven't done too many of the Gauntlet 2. I've been focusing more on the Mitten 4 and the Battle Royale right now, but I will try to get in a few gauntlets in there. But I'm pretty well set as far as investments go into these playoffs. So I probably should pump the brakes just a tad.
But John, I feel like this was a talking point throughout best ball season when they launched new puppies. We would talk about these specific draft windows. And obviously the early edge in the first gauntlet was you were able to get all of these team combos for incredibly cheap. We've seen the Niners, the Chargers, like their ADPs have skyrocketed up. There's teams that you just can't build now that we drafted in the gauntlet. But in Gauntlet 2, it doesn't matter. We're all starting with the same level playing field. And I'm like, well, I better run in there and find out what the edge is in this one.
Yeah, I think it's as it being a fresh new slate, it's like a completely different contest. Like everything we thought we knew like 2 weeks ago in studying the gauntlet, I think you just throw it all out the window and hit the reset button, right? Like the fact that we just know the matchups now, we know stuff like spreads and weather and stuff like this for this isolated week even. It's just like you're building completely different teams than you were 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Numi, how are you handling what I'm feeling is a groundswell of New York Giants upset sentiment lurking around the interwebs these days?
I just, I understand it. I can totally feel it. Like I got nothing to really push back there, except I expect it to be a game. So therefore I'm targeting it in the, for my answer, I'm just going heavy in the BR. Probably going to max that. This is where I got introduced to the BR, but yeah, we're just keeping our head down. We're pushing through. We're a little bummed that it's not noon Kirk. So let's
be real. If this was like
one.
if this was a week 10 matchups, Vikings versus Giants, Newbie would be like, I can't believe the spread's only like -2. This team is terrible. Like we would be getting the full Homer experience, but
yeah, I'm just trying to keep it in wraps. I'm talking about it with the boys.
Yeah, playoff Numi's subdued. He's level-headed. comparatively.
I know the expectations, and it's
Well,
it's not
it's
much.
interesting how the market has reacted in Gauntlet 2 and these newer contests where Justin Jefferson's ADP has stayed the same, but all of a sudden Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins are like essentially free in these drafts. I sometimes feel like they're the guy stuck at the top of the queue and everyone's playing chicken, like who's going to take Dalvin, who's going to take Kirk Cousins, when that was not the case, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, fully agree. I feel like I think people are treating Justin Jefferson as like the premium version of Tyreek Hill right now, where it's like, we know he's really good. We know we want him on our team, but we think he's going to lose. And you're not getting the ADP discount for Jefferson as you're getting with, Tyreek or other names of that magnitude, right?
And
Definitely
I feel
the
like
sentiment.
I know, a lot of like I would say what most would consider the optimal strategy is to have, your 2 first-round picks be from opposite conferences. And I know if you start with an AFC quarterback, or say you're starting with Jamar Chase, like when you're looking at these NFC options, it's like you look at Justin Jefferson, you're like, he could be one and done. Sorry, Numi. You're looking at CeeDee Lamb, got toasted by the Commanders, and now we're going on the road game. And then you're looking at AJ Brown, and you're like, I don't get his points in round 1. And like all of these NFC pairings, like they all have warts to me now when I'm staring down that draft board.
How good do you feel about the back end Brady stuff and the back end 49ers stuff from like 3 weeks ago now, right?
Yeah.
Like you're sitting in the catbird seat in Gauntlet 1 when you were drafting that stuff.
Well, speaking Niners, like what the fuck is going on with this Brock Purdy shit, man? I mean, people are in love with Brock Purdy. It doesn't matter if you have a 49er. It doesn't matter if you already have another quarterback. It doesn't matter if you don't have a logical path to making Brock Purdy make sense. I mean, people are out here fucking raw dogging Brock Purdy like the world's about to end. Like, what is going on with this?
It's Jalen Hurts light, right?
Is that what the kids are saying?
Not 90% Jalen Hurts. I don't know. I think that's what I honestly was so looking forward to this stream, because we finally can get some level-headed, fingers crossed, people in these lobbies that are not just scrambling over one another for each other's stacks, and then you just left with no choice but to. And I mean, it's not a bad thing, but you're just left with no choice but to take these Buccaneers, because it's it's the only clear path to stack an AFC partner at this point. So I've got a ton of investment in Tom Brady and the Buccaneers right now, just out of necessity, because I have no one else to stack.
I am so fucking over leveraged on the Jags, because it's maybe this will be the logical draft where everyone stays in their lane. Nope, I guess I'm onslaughting the Jags for the 19th straight draft.
Why do I have 20% Evan Ingram? What the hell? This was not how it was supposed to go.
I just checked my exposures, and I did most of mine traveling across Nebraska, Kansas, and all those states from Colorado to Minnesota, and that was the Mitten 2. I apparently am very glad that the Dolphins won, because I have all Tyreek Hill, Waddle. I'm very invested in Tua playing this week, so now I need to start scouring for that. So that's fun.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I got a coined commissioned that just has Zay Jones on one side and Evan Ingram on the other, and then I just flip it at my desk to round out my Jacksonville stacks.
That's great.
Speaking of maybe our generation's Jacksonville, our generation's Tampa Bay, these Seahawks are cheap, guys. You want Kenneth Walker? You want DK Metcalf? You want Tyler Lockett? They're there
yours.
For you. The people laughed at me 2 weeks ago, man. The people laughed at me 2 weeks ago. Let me paint you a little scenario here. You're going San Fran. It's pouring rain. They started as 10-point dogs, 10.5-point dogs. Now they're only 7.5-point dogs. The total keeps coming down. It's 43 now. You're going to get this sloppy divisional matchup on the road. Maybe they're not going to score enough fantasy points, but if you can get points from other areas and then drag some Seahawks through, and they scrape out this ugly ass 20-14 win, and you're sitting there with 4 Seahawks in your back pocket, or 3 Seahawks, I've seen crazier things.
Well, and this actually becomes a bit of a portfolio conversation, because I was so heavy on Niners in the first gauntlet. And now that I can't get the Niners combos I want, I don't even, you start with CMC and Kittle. You could even grab Debo, the Purdy guys coming, the Ayuk guys coming. And so I've started to hedge a bit and just be yeah, I'm getting boxed out of Niners. Let me rip some Seahawks. They're free. I don't love that they go on the road to Philadelphia, even if they do win. But I still think, when we think through like the type of teams and players you want to target, and it's why the Jags are attractive. And I think it really fits the bill with the Seahawks, where it's like, these are superstars, Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. We know it's concentrated. Like, no one else is popping up for 30-point games there. Like, if you get an upset game there and you wipe out all these Niners teams, like, I don't know. I think if we wind the clock back to the beginning of the season, I know the Seahawks are a different team now, but this offense is the kind of sleeper offense I like want to target at a cheap cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The pass rate over.
And even if you're not like stacking them, like a one-off Lockett or a one-off Metcalf, I think could potentially be really helpful, especially if you're building a team that has like 3 Chiefs or 3 Eagles, and you just need something to help get you over, especially in the gauntlets. I think they're prime targets because, like you said, they're so concentrated, likely to be a negative game script. I think they make a lot of sense for a lot of teams, not even just these bye week teams, because I love playing it safe. So I'll have a couple.
And Noah Fant's hurt now too. He didn't practice today. First practice reports came out, didn't practice today. So I mean, you can get even more concentrated there, right?
Someone send me a screenshot of a Gauntlet team they drafted that has Colby Parkinson on it, and I'll send you a Value Hound gift card to buy a shirt.
That's gonna happen right now.
Show them a cash game lineup with it, Pete.
Jesus, I wish. We've moved on. This is a forward-looking show. Numi, speaking of one-offs, because I have tried to mix those in a little bit more, like early playoff drafts, I was just very concentrated, like team level stuff. Now I've mixed them in. I feel like the next level I need to break is being willing to do from a team I'm playing against. So in that same thing, if you have the Niners and you play that as a massive game, are you sprinkling in a DK Metcalf, or do you have any spots? Like, are you taking a Tyreek Hill with some Bills? Are there any one-off game environments you're willing to play?
Yeah, it would be, in the environment, it would be the guys that can explode and basically that can take it to the house in one play type players. So yeah, Tyreek. Even so, something interesting that I've been thinking of. I mean, you could even dabble and just take. I noticed, like you said, Cook is falling along that. I mean, you can take a Cook and then backstack it with these giant stacks. Another interesting thing. I think it's totally viable, and especially depending what contest you're playing. Now, I totally missed the Mitten 4 structure. I know that's been one debate.
2 out of 6. 2 out of 6.
So, yeah.
The Cash Game King tried to get it 3 out of 6, but Redmond said no.
Interesting
3 out of 6, and it pays like $2 to everyone else.
You lose money by advancing.
Yeah. The one-off spot that just really comes to mind is a Mark Andrews, where you just get Mark Andrews in that, and it's just like you just basically saying the volume funnels through Mark Andrews, and the points are going to funnel through him. I mean, you're expecting that the Bengals are going to get up and they're going to have to be coming from behind, and they're going to have to be using their weapons, and Mark Andrews is that weapon. So that's another interesting spot there. But
I think J.K. Dobbins fits that mold too. As like a one-off with Bengals games where it's like you paint the narrative that they don't have Lamar this weekend and they don't have Gus Edwards with the concussion, and you just have like a 3 running back build where J.K. Dobbins is the 3rd running back.
Yeah. How have you guys been? I think, too, the trap we get into is just, people were scoffing at the Seahawks stuff because you look at the line and you see how dominant the Niners have been. But, I mean, where do you think the edge is in these tournaments right now? Is it with roster construction and getting, like, the one-offs, knowing, hey, I'm not going to be duped with this random combo? Or is there still structural edges? John, I saw that you had the tweet about Mitten 4 with the 2 of 6 advancing, where you were like, you should just rip 5v5 onslaughts, and we can discuss if that's even possible to do in some of these kamikaze rooms. But like, what do you think is optimal strategy right now? And obviously Gauntlet and Mitten 4 are different structures.
Yeah, for me, the two out of 6 ones, I'm literally trying to onslaught Super Bowl, and then I'm fine just mixing in 1 or 2 like one-offs that could push those teams through. Now, if I mix in a bye week team, then it becomes a 3-team build for me. With the 1 out of 6 in the Gauntlet, I'm pretty comfortable with 4 teams right now, which is kind of weird to say, but like 4 teams as in like 3 of them are just from like 3 players are from like 2 other teams, and then I have a 2 individual team stacks. So that's probably as far as I go. Structurally, I think I think as far as like best ball style contests versus BR on Underdog, this is probably the one where structure has the greatest edge, in my opinion. So I think there still is an edge there, because you do look at rooms and rosters and you'll just be like, wow, that team's drawing dead like instantly.
Yeah.
And that's rare. That's rare in any other format other than the playoff ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, how are you balancing that, Nez? I've seen people tilting your snipage. I mean, I've never seen, like, you can go through, I swear to God, like half of every draft I'm in, I'm like, you're dead to advance out of this round. You're dead to win first place. Like, and I cannot say that about Best Ball Mania drafts. Like, I can go look through teams and be like, yeah, I don't like the players. I don't love that you took 4 tight ends, but you know what? Fuck it. You're probably still live. Like, in these playoff drafts, I'm like, these people are fucking crazy. Has no one read the rules? Like, what is going on out here?
I really don't understand it. I still see. I just saw. I was on a walk today, and I just saw a naked or a solo Jalen Hurts team drafted in a gauntlet, and I'm just like,
I was about to say, naked Jalen Hurts on your walk. Nice, dude.
Yeah,
That's a weird thing to see.
in the lobby. No second quarterback there, and this is the gauntlet, and it's just like you said, like that's wild. As far as like edges go, I think the one biggest edge, in my opinion, that's left is Elijah Mitchell. I think he fits, because he goes so late. I think he fits any build as somebody that can help score you points in the running back position or potentially as a flex. I think that they beat the brakes off of the Seahawks personally, and I think that he's going to be playing a major part of that in icing the game if that is the way that things go. So if that does happen, which it does seem to be likely, even if it doesn't, even if it's not just a beatdown, I think he's clearly used in this offense in a role that has value at the goal line and just in giving CMC a breather. So I think if this game can not remain close, then I think that's even better for Elijah Mitchell. So getting him on a team where I maybe have another 49er or just helping me get over that edge, I think he has the potential to be one of the premier scorers this week. Yeah.
Take that one step further and you go, it's pouring rain this weekend. They got no Al Woods and they got no Jordan Brooks, and they have their third string quarterback in there. What if they just establish it 35 times and 18 are McCaffrey and the rest is Eli, right?
I mean,
like it's
music
definitely
to my
with
ears.
it. Yeah, it's definitely range of possibilities.
What's going on in California? What's up with all this rain? It was like pouring rain inside the SoFi Stadium because it has like no walls or some shit. Like, is everything? Do we have any California residents? Are you guys okay? What's going on
the ground here? Numi, I feel like this is a question I see a lot of saying, hey, if it's a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, the 2 bye week teams, you're not getting points from those guys to advance. I mean, I'll just say right now in the Mitten 4, I mean, knock yourself out. Draft 5 total from Chiefs-Eagles and then just try to hit the fucking nuts with your other 5 and see if you can get that team through. It's a much more interesting conversation for the 1 of 6. I've done some 4. From 4 bye players and trying to do it. Right now, I'm mainly doing 3. Like I did a Mahomes, Kelsey, AJ Brown, and then I just take my feet off the gas in the gauntlet. Maybe that's playing a little scared, but Numi, how are you playing for these bye week scenarios?
Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't jumped in these streets yet. Now that all this has been settled, I've been in the BR so much. Once we've got it all determined that Chiefs are in 1, but if you're looking at that and you're taking front, so I'm going to be, depending what contest it is, I'm still probably going to be taking 3 teams, depending 4. And how I would play it is probably take 3 from that quarterback stack, depending if it's Hurts or Mahomes. Drag 2 more along from the opposite side team, and then you have 5 live players from round 1. Is how I would play it. I think that's like the only way you could play it, right?
Yeah, it's so thin.
Or
but
one
like,
of the thin. Yeah, I mean,
but it's
otherwise
the way
you
to
have
do
be
it.
2-2-6 if you want to do it as well, or even, you know what I mean. I guess you could do the 2-1 if that's how you imagine that. But then you're sitting there with 3 players. So yeah, that's tough. That's the balancing act that you have to start piecing together. Is just like the whole puzzle is.
I like this is
mattering.
And I have seen, like, I've done this too. So Pius says Chiefs, Eagles, and then Jag stacks. I've done it similar where you have like say a bunch of Cowboys, but then I'm sitting there and I'm like, is Michael Gallup and Dalton Schultz going to really bring this home? Where I'm like, I think it might be optimal if you do 5 Chiefs Eagles and then you're taking Tyreek Hill and you're taking Mark Andrews and you're just like, can I alpha gam my way through and then just let God take the wheel?
Yeah, to be clear, like you take like 5 one-off play, not one-off, or a conglomerate of 5, not 5 from one team where you're just kind of building up like that, but yeah, like 5 of these guys alpha studs where you're just getting guys that can push you through and get you out of that round.
I think the easiest way to do it is to not include the quarterbacks, because you need the quarterback score to push you through, and build a single quarterback team where you're building out like a tandem that's like a premium tandem from the other side. And then you're building out like 4 cheap Chiefs, or like cheaper
I've
Chiefs.
thought about that, John.
Yeah.
And what I landed on is that, like, I think that you don't win first if that happens, because I think that a quarterback is going to make it there. Someone is going to have a team with a quarterback there, and they might not have like 5 players live, but someone will have a quarterback, and it's really hard to envision Hurts or Mahomes not being a top scorer.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not. Yeah, that I think that's the thing too. We're not just talking about, you know, if it was Brock Purdy with the bye and you're like, you know what, Brock Purdy puts up 14 in the Super Bowl. Right. It's like Hurts or Mahomes, you're going to have to make, it's like when we talk about Best Ball Mania, the bye week, it's like, yeah, I'll make up 18 points to win first. To your point, you might need to make up like 30 points with the rest of your lineup.
Yeah, and we were so spoiled last year on that note with the Titans and Packers bye. Like, I can't get over that. Like, give me some shitty bye teams instead. Those are the golden days.
Hey, when you guys are talking about those premium quarterbacks for a sec, did you guys see that Underdog tweet of like the greatest scoring quarterback seasons, like in recent memory or whatever, in the fantasy era? And there's like 3 Josh Allen ones in there, and there's 2 Mahomes ones in there, in like the top 6 quarterback scoring seasons.
Like single games or seasons?
No, season long. Yeah, and like Josh Allen has 3 straight over like 400 or something. Like, these quarterbacks are just different too. Like, long gone is the old era of the old adage that like JJ Zacharisa with the late round quarterback and stuff like that. Like, that shit's like dead now. It's crazy.
So, Nez, what do you think? Okay, let's say Gauntlet 2, because we got the most money up top, 200K to first. What would be your guess is the winning structure? Not the team, but the winning structure for this tournament.
I could see single quarterback, meaning that it's not going to be Eagles or Chiefs in the Super Bowl, 4 running back, and then 5 wide receiver.
Okay, talk about the 4 running back part, because that one, most people aren't getting to 4 running backs. Yeah,
I know. It sounds really bad. It sounds really bad. But I think, like, I think the Bills are going to go to the Super Bowl. So this is all under the assumption that it's Bills in the Super Bowl, and having Josh Allen, and then like if you can pair both of his like running backs, and then you tack on 2 other running backs to help get you over there, because his running backs are likely not putting up monster scores to help you advance. So if you nail his 2 running backs, and then you have a running back partner in the Super Bowl, or at least 2 other running backs to help you get there, and then you have the wide receivers on the other side, and it's like the alphas on that NFC side. So whether it's like whether it's the
Chris
Eagles,
Godwin, Mike Evans,
you double Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, you double the AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, you double Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson. I can really see running backs being like flex, like really dominating the flex with some of these matchups that we have. And even though it feels gross because you can only start one and flex another, if you nail the nuts on these wide receivers, I think that can really give you a unique edge, because I don't think enough people are just like putting trust in like their stud wideouts that they get and like overcompensating. And I see 7 wideout teams that have like Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, and like guys that are starting in round 1. And I'm just like, I don't think that, like, I think that you're better served trying to get a little different in these structures, just based on what I've seen. Maybe Feel Gnarly can attest to that take. But yeah, I think it's going to be one that feels gross, but looking in hindsight, I think it could make sense.
Nice.
And one of my favorite builds, and I don't know if this is like too comfy of a build or other people are doing this a lot, but like when you're actually leaning into like the team strengths and how they play. So like I love like a Hurts, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, where all of your running backs are coming from the AFC. Being like, if the Eagles go on a tear, it's going to be through Hurts in the passing game, and they're not having to rely on Miles Sanders or Kenneth Gainwell, whoever, as much. And then I'm just going to try to bank my running back from the AFC. And sometimes those are like my favorite ways to mix and match of being like, I'm moving away from this team's weakness. And you can kind of do it with like, even like the Bucks right now, where they kind of have a split backfield and you feel much better about, hey, if they advance, it's probably because one of Evans or Godwin have a big game right now. And so those are some of my favorite puzzle pieces, is when you can triangulate like a team strength with also meshing up like a sick starting five in the Super Bowl.
Pete, what do you think about putting two running backs from the same team together in like a 3 running back build? So not the 4 like Nez is suggesting, but like a 3 where it's like you just go Mixon and Samaje together as those AFC running backs.
So is your thought there, because I guess it's my snap take would be like, I'd be way more open to doing it for teams who are going to utilize 2 running backs, say the Pollard Zeke combo, the CMC Eli Mitchell, versus how contingent is Samaje's value. So I'm like more open to it of like, hey, there's a Zeke game because they crushed the Bucks, and then there's a Pollard game where they have a negative game script against the Eagles, versus like playing the BBM3 Galaxy Brain scenario where Dalvin Cook gets you through the 2 rounds, then gets hurt, and Alexander Madison takes you. Like that scenario feels a little thinner to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think that's a good comp to utilize. Like the Dallas backfield makes a lot of sense. In that same vein, I think the Tampa backfield makes a lot of sense too.
How are you guys treating Numi? What do you think of the Bills backfield? Because I think we're pretty close. Have we gotten to a full on James Cook flippening? I don't think an 80.
Not even close, which is awesome.
I mean, I'm James Cook over Devin Singletary in a vacuum right now. It does feel like by the end of the week that flippening might happen.
I'm 100% over James Cook over Devin Singletary. I think I have Singletary like a little bit, simply because I looked at my exposure and I said, and I needed a little bit in there, but 100%. I mean, you just watch him play, and it's just like Cook just gives you that ability. I think Casey, 100%. Yeah, the KC backfield is a fun one too. I mean, you even. What if Ronald Jones gets more run in the playoffs? Yeah, I mean, too far. But you have we have CEH, who is freer than free, and that was someone that I've been taking way earlier. I did not feel great about like 2-3 weeks ago when I was doing this, but you have that. But I mean, it's the big and Cook is just. I'm surprised he hasn't flipped him yet, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
After looking at that, so
it's still early in terms of. Well, it's still early in terms of.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna say that, like, one thing I remember always talking with Brick about on Lulz, like when you think of like ownership and correlation of like ownership is a doc, right? Like in a perfect world, no one would have the same, and correlation is a boost. And in this specific format, the team correlation boost is so much more massive than a lot of other formats, to where in BBM3, am I ever taking Tony Pollard and Zeke? No. Over the course of an entire season, their outcomes are probably way more inversely correlated. But in this sprint, like a 4-week sprint, like the team correlation is so powerful that I have no problem with it. CMC, Eli Mitchell, Zeke, Pollard. I just want to be very purposeful with the backfields. And I do think the McKinnon Pacheco one's a good one, especially because drafters don't like taking Pacheco, and he'll slide. And one thing I've noticed, same with the Cook thing, like if you take Cook early and say you have a Bills thing, like I think I had a draft where I got Singletary in the 8th round yesterday because people don't want to touch this guy. So if you're getting a value and it lines up with what you've already built, like I'm completely okay with double running back there.
The Bills in general are just very interesting because like, you have basically, 9-10 viable pieces to draft in every single one of these drafts. So like if people are scared to put those 2 running backs together, like I think that's a pretty sharp way to do it. But like if there's still something to be exploited right now, Cook is the one to keep exploiting, right?
Yeah. Let's get some of these ideas on their feet. Let's hop in a Gauntlet 2 draft here. If the Badge Brigade wants to come out, give us a logical draft, we can do that. The crazies
This is the
wanna
one
come out.
time, one of the few times you want to invite the brigade. You're
I know.
poo-pooing them
Well-
all summer long. You're like, yeah, I don't want these red badges in my draft. And then all of a sudden, this time of year, it's like, yo, what do you want?
I'm now friends with the I've seen lots of new friends in the Deposit Kingdom getting their red badges today. I saw Liam got his, Willis got his. They're just handing these badges out like hotcakes now.
That's crazy that the
Yeah, I know. I
champ
need a
didn't
new
earn his
echelon to
badge
separate
yet.
myself.
Liam too busy
Yeah.
grinding over DraftKings. He's not a true Underdog influencer.
I was joking the
I'll
other
take
day
it over
that
there.
like that they're gonna use they threw Justin Herzig a party, that initial BBM, and then Karain, he's gonna be on commercials and stuff like that. And poor Liam's just lost in the shuffle in the middle there as the second time champ.
Liam
Liam
will
has a
find way.
semi-successful YouTube channel. There we go.
Yeah.
Apparently didn't win enough to hire someone to do his thumbnails, but he's getting through. He's getting through.
He's trying. He's trying.
So we have the 1-4 here. So
Mhm.
by ADP, we'd be looking at a Hertz or Chase here. Any early thoughts on what direction you guys would like to go?
I'm Chaser Diggs in the gauntlets at the 4 spot. If for whatever reason CMC makes it there, then I'm CMC. But that's where I've been here. I've been playing a little safer with these round 1 running wide receivers. What would you consider to be the worst spot in these drafts, Pete?
Probably the 5, because
Yeah.
you can try to set up, like if you take Chase, like the turn will still often snipe you on like the burrow,
Whoa.
like nothing's safe. Okay.
I like
you guys want
this.
to do CMC?
I like this. Yeah.
My preference
Any-
is CMC.
Numi, you want to make a case for Jefferson?
I can make any case I want.
We can get him in the 4th. We can get him in the 4th.
happening. I'm gonna still make my case that Jefferson's gonna put up the score that you're gonna need to advance out of the round 1. But
There we
Wow.
go. There we
I
go.
heard that.
Now the skull
think-
comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, we want just match up and everything. Yeah, I can bring up stats. I can bring up the thing that we do on the badge rows where I bring up PFF grades, DVOA, anything you want. This Giants defense, we already saw it happen. Yeah, Jefferson's gonna go
Was
off.
it Christmas Eve? Christmas Eve, the last one?
Numi, what's your unbiased take if the Vikings go on the road to San Francisco?
Oh, I mean, I expect like a line of like negative 14, like sitting at the 49ers. Like it's not going to be great.
Come on, man.
I mean, you honestly want my non-biased take? Yeah, I think honestly, we'll probably like a touchdown favorites. You got to give us that, right? I mean, if it's a close
Touchdown
game,
favorites at San Francisco?
He meant underdogs. You know what he meant.
Oh.
yeah, sorry,
Okay,
like the
yeah, there you go.
49ers are touchdown favorites. In
Yeah.
Joe
okay,
says
okay.
you look like a Minnesota guy. I love
You
that.
look like it.
You guys want to do Diggs here or Jefferson?
I like
think you gotta do
Diggs.
Diggs.
Diggs
Yeah.
makes
Yeah,
more sense.
Pull
Yeah.
something from the other side and then.
This
Yeah.
is hard to do in this day and age.
Yes, CMC Diggs is. I have not gotten that a lot lately.
I was looking back at my old teams and I saw one of those and I was like, took a picture of it. I'm like, hey guys, like I remember whenever you could do this?
GM, baby.
Yeah, the sickos are loving the Diggs CMC start.
There we
So
go.
rare.
That's a GM copy.
That is
Man.
a GM right there.
I'm-
Hey, I didn't know. I don't know if you heard, Pete, that the Justin Jefferson comps of recent.
Now, so I haven't. I
Oh my
saw.
Lord. Don't
this,
even make me leave this stream right now.
I saw something reference. Was this like? Is this equivalent to like the Lynn Swan Garrett Wilson
Don't
comp?
even
Is
right
that
now.
what-
Oh yeah.
God,
Oh yeah,
John,
it is.
John,
Char-
you don't,
do yourself a
the reason
favor
why we
and
even
look
got
up
on this.
Charlie Hennigan. Charlie Hennigan is modern day. The modern day comp.
Yeah, everyone already bracing us for our pretty snipe.
Oh man.
I don't
I
even
have
want to think
never
about the
gone-
Trevor Lawrence pivot if we get sniped.
I mean, I know how this draft ends, and it ends with four
I've
My,
seen this 100 times.
It's hilarious because we'll pick here.
Kittle.
Yeah, I like Kittle more than Ayuk right now.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. I don't know if you guys would have contemplated a decision there, though. If Jefferson had fallen there, would you guys
Yeah.
have entertained it?
I would have.
No,
Yeah,
not at
I
all.
think so too.
I would have pounded my fist on this table. We wouldn't.
That would have made
Justin Jefferson.
that would have made like Kindler and the two hole probably just like throw their hands up and just be like, well, like that is a super nice round one team. Like those three scores would have been really, really tough to beat.
Well, let's do a quick profiling of our opponents here. So we have a Josh Allen team building very logically here. CeeDee Lamb coming back. We have a Patrick Mahomes team with Debo coming back, very logical. Stark Kindler, NFC heavy but logical. We have a Cincinnati onslaught, and then we have a 2 bye week team here with 2 first round alpha running backs. Like I would say, so far everyone's building pretty logically.
This is
Knock
an
on wood.
interesting. The interesting decision here between Ayuk and Purdy, because the Debo drafter has a quarterback already in
Mahomes.
I
So
think
this
you
is
just
where
take Ayuk and pray.
you take Ayuk and you trust that this person knows that he's already devoted too much capital early to
Yes.
quarterback and needs to wait. This is where we pray. Here it comes. The Purdy snipe.
Can I
is
give
coming.
some
Just pray.
free game here? You can get a better quarterback in the 10th round, buddy. If you're
Oh
here.
my god!
Let's
Imagine
get some free
taking Imagine taking Brock Purdy over Trevor Lawrence. Like, you could have Trevor Lawrence. He's been QBR's best quarterback going over the last. Oh my god!
These guys can't help themselves.
Oh, it's because I called him buddy.
Yeah. Well, my friend
Okay.
dabbled in these streets, and he sent me a text yesterday, and he just goes, "Is this common?" And he just sent the draft board of Brock Purdy being sniped from him, and I'm like, "Welcome to hell."
Yeah,
Like,
welcome
welcome
to
to the streets.
Underdog, bud.
He's like, "This has happened like every time I try and set up a stack." I'm like, "Welcome." Like, it's
Oh my
a way of
god.
life.
Oh God! All right, so fucking hell. Who do we take first, Christian Kirk or Travis Etienne?
Yeah, literally, like, that's literally where our brains all go, right?
Tell me what to do here, guys.
We could
Um,
pivot to Chargers.
I
and you
kind of
could
like
just,
Chargers. I like Chargers.
Want to
Yeah.
do Keenan?
The
Or do you just
problem
lock
is
up
the
Herbert?
problem is the person who took Eckler is at the corner as well.
I
Yeah,
know.
I think we do Herbert and
Uh,
just like middle finger to that person, but because we could get Mike Williams. Because like otherwise, like it's a Trevor Lawrence team, and then we were missing out on even another spot to take a Jaguar if we have a naked Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
No, this is growth, because I normally we just start ripping Jags here. You guys talked me into something different.
Yeah,
I think it's more
Isn't
fun
it-
to
isn't it
try.
great?
It's more fun to
Yeah.
try. Push the boundaries.
Isn't
Oh,
it
yeah, I
crazy
love it.
how it's just the defeated moment of, well, here we go with the same build over and over again. Like, it's just immediately, it's just like, I was just gonna go back to my defeated Jags build here and build out for the 100th time, but we'll try something new.
Dude, the chat says we're drawing dead. Everyone says we're done so.
He must be talking about Team 6.
Hey, this is where I love it, because I do still think, did this team's first place equity go down? Absolutely. Can we still build a logical team? Of course. And I'm up for the challenge.
Of course we can. Of course we can. Come on, don't test us.
So let's check in on some of these other teams here. So, all right, whatever, Lariotto. Super Shorty has his Bills onslaught going, makes total sense. David here goes the double running back. He just got influenced hard. I don't know. The Eckler pick's a little weird.
I think he was really nervous for points, like really trying to lock up some points
Guys,
there.
if you love something, let it go. And if it's meant to be, it comes back.
There we go.
This team
That's
is
what we're
about to look
talking about.
beautiful. And here's what I think we should consider. I know I was talking about like my 4 running backs like potentially being like, you know, the champion, but a solo CMC team, kind of something that I'm entertaining. If I have a team that looks like this potentially, even though we do have Diggs putting up first round points for us as well, would you
what,
feel more
Des?
comfortable?
I'm you know what? It's Pete's money. Fuck it. I'm in. Yeah. You know what?
I'm down. I was one of those.
I mean,
you know
just your
what?
thoughts, just thoughts. We don't have to.
I feel like I should get my Galaxy Brain Best Ball Bro card taken away because I didn't have a single naked Travis Kelce team in my BBM3 portfolio. I feel like this is the equivalent of that. Naked CMC running back in Gauntlet is the same, and I need to embrace it.
I'll spin zone it one leg further. What if we go
That
Mitchell?
feels good,
That's
too.
exactly what I was going with.
Yeah. Well, do you know who's
that
gonna be? Do you know who's giving a long fucking look to Mitchell right now? His name is Loriotto, dude. He just cannot wait to take him.
We should have saved that take one pick. And now he takes Travis Etienne, so he takes away the backdoor Lawrence stuff.
God. If
That
you're
is
watching
unreal.
right now, reveal yourself.
Shit mix.
Shit.
It is a shit mix. That's what it is. You guys like Mike Will? I don't know. Mike Will is a very interesting case for me now with the back. Nez on our show said that it was the equivalent of, what did he say? Doing deadlift rows, and he had felt a tinge in his back one time, and he played.
Oh, I didn't feel a tinge. I thought I pulled a goddamn disc. And I took a muscle relaxer, and I was good as new.
What's the pick? I think you could. I don't want to take McKenzie here or whatever.
I think
You
it's
don't want
Mike Williams.
Yeah,
I think it's Mike Williams. No, I think it's Mike Williams.
Because
I
even
think
if
it's
he
Mike-
doesn't play in round one, we can still like these wideouts are,
Yeah,
are
exactly.
disgusting,
Yeah.
and we can push them through.
Yeah.
I
So-
think it's Mike Williams. I think it's Eli Mitchell. And then not next necessarily with the Eli Mitchell pick. We might be able to wait and just hope he comes back. And then we could,
Dude,
Eli Mitchell.
I'm saying it right now. If we want Eli Mitchell, we have to take him with this.
We
pick.
do.
I'm telling
We
you
do.
right now.
Okay. Yeah. Let's paint the narrative here, though. Like, that's the triple condom is we take him right now. If we want to let it ride and just hope he comes back to the other side because there's only one other person building San Fran, you could take the one off Tyreek that pushes you through to the next round.
But we're already pushed through with all of our wild card guys playing.
That's
right?
true. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
The question more, I'll just put them in the queue real quickly, but the question more is where this structure is going, because if we're going to just play San Fran from this side, but we also need the Chargers to make it to the Super Bowl, like, would we try to get two more from a different AFC or NFC team? So basically we would be able to complete Chargers versus another NFC team to wrap things up. That's
Isn't
kind of the
there
question for me.
An NFC team. Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna be
Now
funny
that we
and say,
articulated,
and say Seahawks, but like I don't know if you want to game stack Seahawks with that. Or is
See,
that just
I wouldn't
too
do it
cute?
because we're so heavy on
We're so-
Niners.
I mean, yeah.
To me, it would be like a Tampa play.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
who's left? It's like, are we taking Russell Gage and Julio Jones, or Leonard Fournette? I guess potentially, if it's not Eli.
You know
or
what you
it's
could do?
McCaffrey.
You could take fucking Darius Slayton and Isaiah Hodgins. Like, you could do something like that.
That I'm in for.
Sorry,
I mean,
Naomi.
Don't
the
be
matchup
sorry,
is so
we're trash.
the matchup's so juicy. Come on, have some respect for yourself, man. Stand up. Like, this is your Vikings, man. Come on, this is the team of destiny. You guys beat the Bills in the regular season. Come on, man.
Yeah, what if the
Yeah.
Packers sneak in?
Yeah.
I like this thought from
Take
Chip.
the Packers.
We did a couple of those. We did a couple of
This is
those
it.
on stream where Aaron Jones was our last pick that Nez talked us into a 4 running back build of. Aaron Jones was the piece you needed. He would just push us through week 1.
Hang on. I have another idea here. I have another idea because Neil brings up a good point. We need another running back for the Super Bowl. What if we take Josh Palmer and then grab like Fournette? Because then you're still live for Chargers by 4 NFC running back. What do you guys think of builds like that?
I think Palmer's the best pick, or Everett.
Yeah. Fuck Gerald Everett.
Everett's.
Yeah, we might.
But
as
this
well
fucking dust ball, dude. This guy can't even get snaps over Trey McKitty. I mean,
Or Donald Parham.
so yeah, I mean, we need an NFC running back. I think you could do Fournette. You could do White. I don't
I
even
like
know
Fournette.
what
That's
I
all you
think.
can do.
Madison, Galbrain. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, or like I have a lot of one-off Dobbins, but I don't know if that's necessary. I think we can probably opt for a little
I like
correlation.
White. Well, I mean, Fournette just goes, so clearly, but
Yeah. And this is where like I definitely find myself gravitating toward the puzzle pieces coming together nicely. Like I like this idea of we're still live for a Chargers Buck Super Bowl, but I don't know if it's so thin that it doesn't even matter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it
that's
might
kind of how I
just be
feel
looking
about
for
it.
points.
Yeah.
Right. So what would you guys want then? What would you want to take here if we didn't go the Rashad White angle? What would be another good option?
I'd rather take Joshua Kelly.
And just
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I'd rather take Joshua Kelly or Jared Everett and just be like, yo, this is Chargers. And
So I think I'd rather do Everett. The only thought being, as much as I hate him, is like if Eckler goes down, like there's no way this team is going to the Super Bowl.
that's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the counter to it is they ride Eckler to the Super Bowl, and what you need is the Joshua Kelly uniqueness touchdown because every Chargers stack under the sun has Eckler already, right? That's the only
Right.
Except ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris G subsidizing this team that's dead. So this team only cost me $15. Thank you, Chris.
oh, man.
Yeah.
Pete, I'll send you my Venmo after the show so I can get my
Yeah.
$250.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well,
You
I was
wanna-
gonna offer that till I saw the roster, and now I'm like,
Yeah,
just
I know.
keep your equity, bud.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm just not doing the Jimmy G thing. I'm just not doing it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
me neither.
No.
Plus, there's so many financial incentives for him not to play. Like, if you're Jimmy G, like, do you want to come back and join a Super Bowl winning team and maybe have that opportunity and whatnot? But nothing's to say that he's earned that right over Purdy. And there's so many financial incentives for him not to play as well. Like, he's going to get paid. Like, the Jets are going to pay him, right? Or someone's going to.
You also have to realize the scenarios where this happens. If Brock Purdy's getting benched for Jimmy Garoppolo in the Super Bowl, it's because fucking Brock Purdy brought them to the Super Bowl. Like, it
Yeah,
doesn't make
right.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is like, I see these comments a lot. Kobe says, why do so many people think if the Chargers were to win, they'd 100% play KC? Oh, I see what you're saying. Basically thinking if one team has an upset, why can't another team? Absolutely. And it's why I think you just have to rip it in when you make bets on teams. And like when you're making bets on teams, you're just saying, hey, they're going to the conference championship game. Like that's just what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the best way to articulate that or like envision that, see it visually, is with that chart from the spreadsheet that we always keep looking at, right? Like just seeing that even the likelihood of a Super Bowl matchup of a team with a bye and a team with a bye. So like the likelihood of like the Chiefs and the Eagles meeting in the Super Bowl is only 17.29% according to Football Outsiders, and it's only 11.1% according to Pinnacle. And like we like to think we know how these games are going to unfold. Like someone next weekend that nobody's expecting to win is going to win, right? Like it's just the nature of it.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's perfect just to put an example of just, we bring it back to literally what just happened in MLB, where we had the same statistics where you can bring up the odds of that happening and the likelihood of we're up here, but Dodgers. Yeah. Oh,
I say you
me?
get Kelsey Diggs. Who's going Kelsey Diggs and taking that? That's so thin.
You could do. I think if we do, I kind of like Kelsey, and trying to get something cute here.
Do you guys want to go really cute and start Kelsey
And
AJ
double
Brown?
buy? Yeah, double buy teams.
Let's put ourselves in a corner and back our way out of it.
Let's do it.
There we go.
Let's go.
I mean, now that the chat has subsidized this entry, we're gonna rip 10 bye week players.
Let's go, baby.
What a supportive community you've built here, Pete. This is just tremendous.
If only I could have had people subsidizing my spy entries all season long, I wouldn't be down horrendously.
oh man.
So how many, if in this scenario where it's Eagles and Chiefs, we've talked about how many we want in this Super Bowl. Are we playing for that? And then is it like a maximum of 4 or 3 like Chiefs and Eagles combined here?
Sorry, say that. I was reading the chat again.
How many
with the
more
match-
Eagle Chiefs do we want to take as a combination?
I feel like without the QB, I feel like you can't do more than 4.
Two. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so either. Like you have an interesting team. If you just so happen to make it and that's the Super Bowl, there's not going to be a lot of teams with that. We've only had this contest for so few years, and so it's just interesting to see what would happen if that does play out.
What do you guys think of like Pacheco Goddard or like McKinnon Goddard if it comes back, and then building out either Seattle or Tampa as like the late NFC stack, and then that's your 5, and then you have 4 from this other, and you could even thrust in like a one-off. I keep coming back to Tyreek because he just makes so much sense to me as like the one-off push you through player, but like who has a late ADP, but something like that kind of. I don't know how else you gal brain 2 buy teams unless you have.
Think about it this way, right? We passed on Diggs, we passed on Joe Burrow, we passed on Deebo Samuel. So to your point, you look at Seahawks, you look at Ravens, you look at Dolphins, right? Those are, you're leveraging against the picks around you in vaulting up that way.
Damn, Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
I do think McKinnon would make a ton of. I mean, I think McKinnon, Miles Sanders. We put baby in a fucking corner and we follow our way out.
I like it.
Let's do it.
Let's
go.
say McKinnon Sanders.
Yeah, that's the lineup that wins. And now everybody's trying to build this next year.
Yeah. Because then let's say this Super Bowl happens. Let's say we're fortunate enough to advance. We're going to be going against Mahomes teams. We're going to be going against Jalen Hurts teams, but they are not. What's the max they can have, right? They could have the Mahomes teams can have Mahomes, Kelsey, McKinnon. The Hurts teams can have Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devonta Smith, but they're not going to be able to have the 4th piece that we added, essentially, right?
That's what we're saying, I believe, is like we have that extra piece that you need. There will be, I mean, I think everybody feels very confident. Like obviously not a full lineup. Like even if there's 4, that would be like shocking, plus a QB to get you over that hump in that case. So I think what would be interesting for us to do here is like from here on out, we kind of just like watch the world burn, and none of these picks from here on out are correlated.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Like we just alpha gamut like out of here and be like, can we carry these guys to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, and obviously I think one QB because I don't know. We try to get the conference
opposite
championship.
Idea.
You want to go
QBs?
I do think 2 QBs is fun, but then it's like you then have 4
gams and 2 correlated QBs.
I see my thought process here was you build 5 from an NFC underdog that you still think is going to make it to the Super Bowl, and the separator right now is that these guys win you the next round, not the Super Bowl round.
I think that's an insurance policy that'll never cash.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And we can't do Seahawks because the Seahawks, if they win, they run into the Eagles.
Right. Yeah. You can't do Hawks. It would. Yeah, it would literally only be.
Are we the Purdy team? No.
Oh my gosh! That's so funny.
No way.
As you would suggest being the Purdy team.
No way, not us. Could it be?
How sweet it would feel.
I mean,
I have a name.
Actually, Chip bringing up a galaxy ass brain thing in the chat with the Gardner call.
That I saw Lou brought that up too.
Yeah.
I'm down to fuck around with that.
Jesus,
this is the absolute fuck around and find out lineup.
I'm a pussy when I draft by myself and they get me on stream and I'm like, let's do some fucked up shit.
Eckler would have been so nice.
Eckler would have been nice.
I like Chris Godwin a lot.
Yeah, me too. I think that's.
Do we worry about Bucks going on the road to the Eagles?
I just think we got to get. No,
but I think it's kind of fine as a game stack.
We have Kelsey
too.
and AJ Brown.
We're just gonna gam it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we have to.
I kind of like Isaiah Pacheco here too. If you're going to do this and you have to go over 5, you think we're dead if we have 5 buys? No,
I think we should stick at 4.
All right.
I would say Cook if you want to make that play.
That's what I was going to say. If you're going to do a guy or running back, do Cook. But
I think Cook makes sense. I think if the Bills crush the Dolphins, I think Cook could potentially put up a pretty nice score.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think 5. You're just like that's just too greedy. Yeah, it's fun, but I just think that's really thin.
Yeah.
Yep. The I do think like this team is destined for like a Tyreek Hill. We need to love Tyreek Hill on this team out of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Tyreek's the one that makes the most sense to me right here.
We could also play that. I mean, we're already so beyond the pale for Galaxy branding, but we could play this as a Seahawks win and the Bucks don't go and play, although Evans just goes, so there goes that. Whatever.
Wait, say that again? Okay, you would play it as a Seahawks win, but
so then the Bucks, when they win, they wouldn't go and face the Eagles.
So right. Yeah. So Seahawks go to face Eagles and then they go to see Niners.
But I was saying hoping to grab Evans and then he went.
Right. Yeah.
Lamar.
Yeah.
So
if
this
we
is
had that thought one turn ago.
This does feel like a good Lamar Andrews team.
I would love that.
I mean, I haven't seen the practice reports yet.
We've already torched this money. Let your imagination run wild, buddy.
I guess. Yeah. That's fair.
My imagination is running wild watching Lamar Jackson run wild right now.
Damn. I mean, I think with both, we've already seen some line movement on the Miami game with Tua. It's just we took James Cook, so I guess it doesn't really matter, right? We just want to get KC and Philadelphia through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think at this point, all we're trying to do is get them through. There's that, or there's Tyreek first and hope no one takes Lamar.
Why don't we take Andrews and Tyreek and then give us outs?
People are scared about Lamar too. So
yeah, I like that.
This team is fantastic.
If Lamar doesn't come back for whatever reason, you could just Galbrain it to Tua too. I mean, it's the same thesis.
Mm-hmm. It is. The only pick I wish I could. The only pick I wish I could have back is the James Cook, so we can just rip in like Waddle and Tua, basically. And then play the Bills upset. Although we could still play that.
You still can.
Because think about this. Like if you're trying to stack ways where this lineup makes sense, it's with the Chiefs' path to the Super Bowl getting even easier, and that's probably a Bills loss.
And that's a game stack next week too. Just a little correlation there.
The chat is so just gross. We're like 19 levels of Galaxy braiding.
Maybe this isn't how you get this thing.
If this was your introduction to Gauntlet playoff strategy, like I don't know, check out something on like 4 for 4 or wherever that gets you rolls. I don't know.
Go watch Herzig's stream. Herzig's 40-minute stream. There you go.
Yeah, Will's third eye is open.
Yeah.
We're pushing it, man. We're
pushing it. But okay. I will say I do like the idea of like as a thought exercise, like breaking it, right? Like this team is probably illogical, but it pushes you in directions that help you think about other decisions differently. Because one of the traps with these drafts is to do the same thing over and over, get my 4-3-3s, get my 5-5s, whatever. Like this at least bends your brain in a way of like, maybe I can land on a unique structure. Maybe I take 2 running backs early with 3 quarterbacks and correlate the final week and win fucking $2 million. You know, maybe that happens.
It very well could.
This is the scroll the F down of playoff contests right here. This is what that is.
So we're on the clock here. Lamar, obviously Tua available. The only other thing is, we could go Lamar Dobbins. Like we have a hard Cincinnati fade here.
Yeah, I think
Lamar
Dobbins gives us a live out, and it also helps boost us if it just so happens to be Chiefs Eagles. So we do get John's insurance plan like he was talking about, but it was with our last 3 picks,
and we get the Nez approved 4RB build.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't this crazy how we foreshadowed that? And
you're gonna get a Venmo. You're gonna get a Venmo from Nez just looking to get equity on this.
What's 4RB? What's 200 divided by 4?
Yeah. Let's think about this like logically for 1 second, like how we could have made this like same thesis work where we take the 4 off the start and make it better? Would it have is the only other way backdoor Bucks? And like, so instead of Cook, we take Evans and then hope Brady comes back. And then you hope they play Niners instead of playing Eagles. Is that the only other way?
Yeah, because shit, I didn't save the fucking draft board. I always forget to do that.
Every time, yeah.
I think you can pull up on Gauntlet because it's best ball.
Oh, good point. Yeah, I don't know. The
Where?
BR ones, we always lose. No, I think we lose the Gauntlet ones, no?
Oh, view full draft.
Oh,
Thank
there
you.
you go. There you go.
The thing I'm thinking with this one, right, is we want the Dolphins to win because we don't want the Ravens to go and face the Chiefs. So we need the Dolphins upset.
Right.
And then they don't have to go face that. And so then we can get a Ravens Chiefs AFC championship
game. Yeah. And then the problem, the thing that makes Bucks better than Seahawks is Seahawks would have to play Eagles, and you can't get them to the NFC championship game
without going through the Eagles. Yeah,
exactly. So if you do Bucks, you could get Bucks, Eagles, NFC championship game, and then you just care about getting.
But in that scenario, you need the same thing as the Dolphins winning. You need the Giants to win so that they go and play the Eagles. Right. Because if the Bucks win and the Vikings win, then the Bucks are going to play the Eagles. So we're hitting like a 19 fucking leg parlay. Do not do this at all.
Either way. Yeah, either way.
NFA.
But it's a great thought experiment. Yeah.
It's a great thought experiment. I've spent $25 in worse ways. I'll tell you that much.
the chat spent it in the worst way.
Is 6 Bengals too many? No, because you're going to get all those points wild card weekend, unlike our shitty team.
6 Bengals is fine.
Yeah. Yes. Have fun out there, but feel free to indulge a little Galaxy Brain. We went full Galaxy Brain there. Any other words of wisdom for you guys? Let people know the Badge Bros streaming schedule. What other playoff content do you guys got coming this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, primarily going to be BR focus this week. We will definitely mix in a couple of those mittens between. I think the rest of our week here, we did baseball today because we had guests and stuff like that. But I think we're going to end up doing football the remainder of the week. And Mark Garcia is going to be on Friday to talk a little football. So we're going to be doing BR and mittens and or gauntlets the remainder of the week. And we stream every single day, 12 p.m. Eastern on this beautiful platform of the YouTubes.
It is fun to go hop in one of the wild card battle royale drafts because you can start to see how the field is thinking differently. Like just one simple example is, George Kittle goes ahead of Deebo Samuel in the wild card draft, but goes after him in the gauntlets. And obviously there's positional scarcity element there, but still, I think there's some fun arbitrage things, and it also will help reframe how you're thinking about ceiling scenarios for this first round. And a lot of like the better matchups and the implied team totals and stuff are more baked in to the wild card ADP than they are the gauntlet, which is kind of a fun way to view it. Yes, I'm sorry, Joe saying I'm leaving because we have ship chasing right now. In 10 minutes, we're going to be bouncing over and talking about the FFPC playoff contest. If you guys want to head over there in 10 minutes, we'll be firing up that stream. We're going to reveal the Boomer Opto. It's a much different contest. It is not individual rounds where you lose all your points after a round. It's completely cumulative, but you can only pick one player from each team. So the ownership element comes in to play in a very, very big way because everyone can build the sickest team they want. So we will do a little Galaxy braining over there. I highly recommend hopping in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. If you guys are not there already, we got the Badge Bros channel. There's all kinds. This is the hack. If you guys are Discord boomers or new to it, there's a thread tab up there Okay. There's all kinds of different threads for wild card, for playoff drafts, for baseball. God knows what sports these guys have threads on, fucking curling in there. I don't know.
They want golf. They want golf.
want
The
golf?
sickos want golf. I
putting
won't
a
let
golf
it.
thread-
I
I'm
won't
putting a
let
golf
it.
thread up there.
No,
just
no,
to
I'm putting
spite
my
'em.
foot down somewhere around here.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I gotta
I'm
stand for
locking that
something.
thread. I have admin privileges. I'm locking that thread.
Exactly. All right. Appreciate all of you. Thanks for hanging out tonight. We're going to go do that over on Ship Chasing. I haven't figured out. We might need to circle back on Friday and do one more stream, maybe a wild card stream. We'll figure it out with the Badge Bros. But appreciate you guys hanging out. Come chill with us on Ship Chasing. Check out the Badge Bros in the Discord on their YouTube channel. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.